solidarity, solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. Victory, there is victory for all. Victory, there is victory for all. In the struggle for our members, there is victory for all. Forward, ever, backward, never. In the struggle for our members, there is victory. Great Nigerian workers, great of the greatest Nigerians, great. Viva Nigerian, viva. Thank you. We may all be seated. Let me invite the HOD and the director in charge of planning, research, and curriculum and development department, Mr. Edwin Adnesha, for the introduction of concept. A resounding applause for him.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I think this must be my first time of maybe establishing protocol. And I've always had the privilege of standing on protocols. But since it has not been established now, I'm the first to speak here, so I'm establishing protocol. The special assistant to the honorable minister, the honorable Minister of Labor and Employment, Mr. Dave Olua, representing also the minister, the Director General of Michael Imodu, Institute of National Institute for Labor Studies, the representative of the President of the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, the representative of the Acting Director General of NECA, the representative of the President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, colleagues, participants, all resource persons and experts that are here, you're welcome. Now, today's session, I'm just asked to do something very brief. I'll speak at some other opening during this program when we come to the technical session. I just want to briefly explain the concept. I have a sense that many of us know what we're here for because there was an advisory sent out and we all have some sense, but I just need to, for emphasis sake. Now, today we are having a validation session for the strategic plan of Michael Imodu National Institute for Labor Studies, the draft strategic plan. Now, it's a draft until now. We've gone through very many stages to bring it to this point. And now we want to, and all the stages we've gone through, practically all the stages we've gone through until now was inclusive in the sense that we had other stakeholders in the Nigerian Nigerian industrial relations system actively involved in this process until now. So we now have a draft and we are bringing the back draft to you. So this process is supposed to be a validation session. So we look at the draft together and we see if those things that we've imputed have been properly represented, if there are areas that we need to firm up. So that's actually why we're here. So we would have a technical session after the opening ceremony. We'll go to technical session where we'll be looking at these details. So that is essentially why we are here. When we come to the technical session, I'll explain a little bit more in detail. So that's about it for the concept. So I think.
I want to invite the Comrade Director General of this institute, who has been piloting the affairs of this institute. He is no other person than Comrade Issa Aremo, member of the National Institute.
The Honorable Minister of State for Labor and Employment, ably represented here by my dear friend and brother, who is also the special advisor to the Honorable Minister, Mr. Olua. I don't know why both Mrs. Solomon and Anisha tried to, in spite of your height, they try to diminish you rather than recognize that, as far as we are concerned, this is the Honorable Minister seated. Honorable Minister seated. I'm tempted to adopt the existing established protocol by the MC as well as Anisha, but I would like to recognize the representative of the state governor or state government who turned out to be my in-law to be, and I'm disclosing this formally. My dear sister, Ajia Fatima Abolore Jimon, very soon we'll call you. It's a very small word, but she's my sister. She turned out to be my in-law. The representative, or let me put it this way so that I'm consistent, the president of Nigeria Labour Congress, ably represented here by Comrade Dr. Mutaka, the president of NSC, ably represented here by my dear comrade, TUC, Dr. Akintola, who is also, we can say, is a co-DG here because he has been here a couple of days to support us here. Madam Dr. Grace Ajagun from Nigeria Education Research and Development Council. I need to single out for special recognition. Please help me appreciate her. Let me recognize all our co-partners, other partners who have been here, the stakeholders. But in a special way, I'm also excited to see our veterans. Please help me acknowledge Dr. John Olarewaju, the former DG of this institute. We also have Dr. Famro, my dear sister, who is getting younger every day after working retired, Dr. Famro. And I hope we are going to listen to them later. They are not just here as guest speakers, they are also powerful resource fellows. They've shown that life begins even after work. And they've shown a lot of resourcefulness. I remember Dr. Famro in one of our strategy meetings for this program, when we were talking about core values, and we remember the need for service delivery. I said, there's nobody who can talk about that, Dr. Famro himself, herself. So you're welcome. Let me just save time and welcome all of you here on behalf of the Honorable Minister, on behalf of the chairman of our governing board, Chief Sam, the newest chairman of the governing council of this board. This is a round of applause for him in absentia. His name is here very well, Chief Sam Okpako Onakowomo. I think you are the one to guide me earlier. These are Niger Delta. On behalf of the council and the chairman of and directors of the institute who have been well recognized, I would like to welcome you to this validation session. of our draft strategy plan to drive the institute forward. I don't know, Anisha, you need to remind me. I think we were here initially August last year. We set the ball rolling, the need to have strategy plan for the institute. You will recollect that this institute was formally commissioned in 1983. It became effective from 86, depending on what date we are looking at. As a matter of fact, we are planning to introduce Founders Day. And I think we zeroed down on May 4th or 8th, I'm not sure when now. Depending on what date we use, but we've come a long way. This institute is 40 years plus now. And it's important to acknowledge this because they used to lecture us that Africans should learn to build the institutions. I think somebody says so, that we should build strong institutions, not strong individuals. But maybe Africans should tell their own stories. And the only way to tell our stories is to remind ourselves that we have been building the institution. MINILS remains one of the surviving institutions in Africa. And this institute has made its impact in line with its mandate, and the mandate is clear: to build capacity for workers, employers of labor, government officials dealing with labor issues in a way that we can build the expertise on those critical labor market issues like collective bargaining, grievance handling, conflict resolution, occupational health and safety, all the issues. Just like we have the one in Badagry, that's ASCOM, which is the Administrative Staff College meant to teach top administrators. Just like we have CMD, Center for Management Development. So also the founding fathers of Nigeria thought it wise that there should be a special institution to build capacity for working men and women, their unions, their organizations, their associations, employers of labor on issues dealing with labor matters. And I think later on, when Anisha is presenting the concept note, you will give us some of those statistics of what impact we have made. But one thing we realized, and in particular when I resumed last year, was that we need a strategic plan, a kind of framework to drive the institute forward. And we need strategic plan. And I want to appreciate all those who are party to that process that we sent in motion last year. Please help me appreciate them. Round of applause. In a special way, I would like to thank International Labour Organization, ILO, and my dear sister, the country director. That's Beneza Pala. I think they are joining us online. Please help me up. Foundation, which is a German foundation which has been supporting us to drive this process. They've given us not just monetary support, but above all, the intellectual input to make this process a reality. God himself is a planner. And there is a popular saying that if you fail to plan, you are inadvertently actually planning to fail. And you know the story of creation of the world. It took God 7 days to create the world. not 7 years, not 70 years. That tells you that time is of essence in planning. The first day, let there be light. The second day is about atmosphere and plant. Ezekiel, you have to guide me. You are the pastor. The third day, God said, let there be sun, the moon. The fourth day, I'm not sure whether Ezekiel, you are not guiding me, because I don't think you've read your Bible. It's you. I'm going to rely on. Fourth day, you have the stars. The fifth day, birds. The sixth day, land. Of course, humans also. The last day. Which means God itself is a planner. And that we need to plan, because if we refuse to plan, it's going to be difficult for us to be successful. So this is why we also thought it necessary in terms of the best practices, in terms of institution building worldwide. Yes, we've done very well in this past decade, but it's not time for us to have strategic plan to drive this institute. And the plan must also be historical to consolidate of the gains of the past, look at our strengths, our weaknesses, look at the possible opportunities and the threats that can sustain Michael Imodu Labour Institute. So this is why we thought we should have a plan. And initially, we have to relook at the date. We've been having conflict. That's why we need validators who are here to help us. Is it going to be from 2022 to 2026? But if you ask me, I think it should be 2021 to 2025. Not just because I'm involved, as I'm involved. Apology to Chief Ojukwu in his book, because I'm involved. But precisely because we've been implementing some of our ideas since last year when we resumed. And as I've said, this plan should consolidate on some of the things, but it's open to discussion about what it's all about. But two remarks I will make, and then we'll move on. The first one is that we can't drive any vision without core values. The value sets the direction, sense of purpose for the institute. And I can see that if you take the performance, the records that have been recorded, they have been driven by basic values. The values of commitment, of diligence, of integrity, of punctuality, time, very critical, of accountability, transparency. I can imagine what took the generation of the founding fathers, especially the founding DG. I think Olariwaju is here, we talk extensively, for them from ground zero to turn this place, which used to be a bush, to a destination, a center of excellence in labor education. And of course, to also become globally renowned center of learning. That takes a lot of commitment and diligence. And if you do so, please help me give them post awards. Some of them were uploaded. I know what it takes for the other subsequent DGs to build on this and consolidate. And I'm very happy some of them are here. Again, it's part of the core values that we're driving. You can't know where you are going or where you are if you don't know where you are coming from. One of the core values that we should keep our veterans, we should connect back to our veterans. What have they done from ground zero to bring us to this level? What are we doing to build on that? What are we doing to run down the place, as we saw in recent years? So those core values, we need to talk about them. And when I saw the beginning of this program, and I'm saying so because we are here for validation. We are supposed to start by 9:30. The Honorable Minister got seated. A round of applause for him. And if you don't like him as the minister, I also say he's even taller than my minister. We all got seated. It's about values, punctuality. You can draw a plan 2022 and you are not diligent, you are not punctual, you won't run anything. That's at the time we go. Nigeria had lots of outstanding plans. You know the story, Pamro. On the eve of the new millennium, we used to sing the song, "There will be water for all," year 2000. Light for all, 2000. And we thought 2000 was far away. Fela had a very good song on that. But it has come to pass, no light yet. No water. Then later we started Vision 2010. No, 10 first. So you are very young. Abacha, even the way he put on the goggle, you know that he has no vision. With all apology to him, but we drew it. Nigeria will be one of the leading countries. I think we have Vision 2020. The late Yar'Adua also drummed that Nigeria will be one of the leading countries, industrialized country, 12. It will be one of the 12 leading by year 2020. The statistics show that we are not even industrializing 2022. In fact, we are de-industrializing because the core values to drive planning missing. Lack of commitment. It's all lip service, rhetorics. So I think for us to make our own different, we must live to it. If you say a program starts 9:30, this is within our control. Why are we not set? We got seated. Development is all about those little things. I've read so much about Nelson Mandela. One of the greatest things he hated is to keep him late. Part of the discipline, they also got it before the struggle. They also got it in prison. Because you have to wake up, you have to take your dues, and you can see how they kept, how timeliness is important. If anybody tell you the story that Mandela went to prison for 27 years, you wouldn't know, but you wouldn't. He also fought the defeated apartheid. He came out to be the first democratically elected president of South Africa. It's about timeliness. And even in our faith, time is of essence. I've just told you how God created the world in 7 minutes, 7 days. I mean, it's there. I got it from Ezekiel. I hope I'm right, the pastor. And if you take many countries of the world we are competing with, they live on planning. We started development plan almost the same time with China. The first development plan was in 1947 under colonial administration. It was more or less which led to regional plan. Then the second one, but let's even take the one after independence, which was the first one, the re-independent development plan. And we had the first, second, and Nigeria was growing at a faster rate. This institute was a product of development plan, third development plan, 1975 to 1980. So nothing works without planning. And you could see how they hit the ground running. It became a reality. And this is where we are today. So I want to say that, please, let's make sure that our own planning is not just lip service. It has to be things that we practice, but it has to be driven by core values of diligence, of commitment, punctuality, ability to get things done. We leave the imperfections to God, but let's make effort. So I want to appreciate the research and planning department led by Comrade Anisha, who doesn't like so much of visibility. A round of applause for him, he's there. But one of the core values you must drive to include visibility. it's not about your choice. Whoever doesn't want to have smoke should not go to. Who doesn't have visibility cannot be in a national institute. It's a national institute. In fact, one of the bane of the institute in recent time is its insularity. It's out of radar. If I tell you our budget, it was a scandal. And when I complained to the Honorable Minister of Finance, fantastic lady, Aisha, I think, Gozi, you are with me. She smiled and looked at the Director of Budget. He said, Ben, comrade is complaining about the budget. Then Ben said, Honorable Minister, what's MINILS? He said, we didn't know MINILS. Maybe now we are hearing. No, I'm serious. It's as good as that. I won't say bad. Because they said limited resources. Institutions are competing for resources, but you can only get if you are visible, not just in your names and also, but in your deeds, you have to be impactful. In fact, the Institute, if you read the statutes very well, and I'm very sure we'll revisit that, Olarewaju and Mapi, you are here, all our core objectives, they all link to national development. This is a national institute. Initially, and I think initially we talked about that, it was initially, the one national was in there, they put it there. Then later they changed it to Michael Imodu Labour Institute, one of the greatest unionists to come from Africa. Give Baba a round of applause. Great one. So it's about visibility is also important. And when we talk of visibility, it's not just about this talking. And also, I'm so happy that all our stakeholders are here is to make sure they are part of the process. And I want to thank all of you who are here, the NGOs. I can see Komalafe, the informal sector. It's always informal. Now we formalize it. I can see all our civil society organizers. And I want to thank the organizer for bringing you so that you can increase. When I talk of visibility, is that you should be part of this process. We should own the process to drive the institute and make it not just grade B that we have been put in, but to be grade A and to fulfill that vision. And that's what the institute used to be. The visibility when Shokumbi was here, fantastic. Jeminiwa, of course, the DG himself. A round of applause for him. He said, I always say the DG. And farm rose of this world, Mrs. Fumilayo, where is she? She's supposed to be here. I want the veteran because they were really visible. That's how we connected. And my PNSC is also back. A round of applause for NSC. For the first time, they brought, they are back here now with, what do you call it, Amatan School. Although you haven't come, the rain is coming. But you also need more visibility. I've said so, Mutaka, you are the one here. Convey to the president. Next time you run program here, I shall stay in this hostel. You will not go to Intercontinental Hotel. Don't make Intercontinental visible. Make MINILS visible. We used to stay here. When you run program in those days, that's the way it should be. So I'm happy you are here. Then the last one is that it's taking place within a context. This is our validation program. Because again, it's a national institution, we must contextualize. Without a country, there couldn't have been MINILS. In fact, without a vibrant, dynamic, independent Nigeria, there wouldn't have been MINILS. Europe underdeveloped, Britain colonized for 100 years. They never thought of establishing MINILS because they were not here to develop you, not to talk of building capacity for work. They are here to extract raw material. And turn you to slaves, take your raw material, bring finished goods. But it was independent Nigeria that said, we must develop ourselves and build an institute. So we must all work to build Nigeria because it has become fashionable now to destroy. In fact, if you want to make news now, is to talk against your country. Break it, spill it, and the media, not this one that are here. I hope they are not here. Even me, as a medium, I've almost switched off now from Nigerian media. You wake up in the morning, they are eager to celebrate, which is it's okay. I'm not saying they should cover those news, and I know there are challenges. May the soul of Dr. Musa Lawan rest in perfect peace. The soul of Comrade Akinwumi, same thing. Akinshola, I met the wife day before yesterday. You will not know what insecurity is all about until you see the victims. The media, they will say 3 died, 3 survived. Statistics. You need to see not just the victims, but see what they left behind. It's a long time I checked here. When I saw this young girl, it was touching. Akinwumi, you can see the vision, dynamic, progressive. People have been here today. And for him to raise out of minimum wage, small wages, to build a house in that village, you could see the effort, you can see the dream. Young girl, I don't know how old is that girl, 2 beautiful sons. The dream cut short by bandits, criminals who decide to bomb the train. And I was telling Moshood this morning in my office that all of us died somehow in that train, because that used to be my service. I used to join that service. Evening service in particular. Once I finish, I will return back. So all of us could have been there. And in any case, we're in traveling industry. All of us were in trade union movement. In fact, trainers, that's what we do now. As a matter of fact, the TUC officials, they were going for their executive council meeting. Martins, I hope you are here. When they were cut short. Then we have not even reported also the impact of, by the passenger, which is okay, they reported it. Railway workers, about 3 of them died, who are mostly women who are serving food. The 2 drivers, one survived, the other one is still in captivity, who was kidnapped away. Some soldiers were killed. Now, I know there are these challenges, I know there are, but the solution is not to magnify and romanticize the effort of the criminals. I think what we need to do is to stop agonizing and organize to fight back the forces that want to destroy Nigeria. Because who would like to bomb a train? I grew up in a Nigeria that walked. From my primary school days to secondary school, when I go to Ahmadu Bello University, I never traveled by road. We traveled by rail. We were promising Nigeria. But along the line, it was run down, vandalized. Now President Buhari fought back. Started with Jonathan. He laid this in, then Buhari consolidated and built it back in a very sophisticated way. Every time you are in that train, when it was on at night, you think you are in Europe. Yeah, I used to do all my prayers there. At times when I'm in fasting mood, I break my fast. So you just go and sleep. Excellent. They have first class, business class, and they have other classes. Just what we saw in Europe. And in a record time, he built it. Record time, for the first time in a life of the administration, you have Ibadan, Lagos Rail, also commissioned. All of us, we should know our country. We should move out to tell different stories. When I go to Ebute Metta, the new terminal is as competitive as any terminal in Europe. Who doesn't want that? Who wants to bomb that? There's also Itakpe Warri Rail Service, which is now carrying goods and carrying humans too. Who doesn't want that? Why can we not damn those who want to do that? Why are we celebrating their tragic and criminal successes, so-called successes? And I'm happy government said they are rebuilding again. And they must rebuild. Because that's the way to move. You can't move 200 million people on keke napep, on cars, on vehicles. You can only move there. Mass movement is by train. That's what China has done. That's what Malaysia has done. So I know there are doing, but let the media also celebrate, or not celebrate if you don't do, bring news that we diminish criminals and uplift all. What our national attempt is, arise, O contraption. Nigeria's call obey. Not you didn't say compatriots be crying, agonizing, be onlookers. And it's not insurmountable. When I came here, what I saw was a departure from what I used to know under Olarewaju, under Geminiwa, under Famro, under Chokumbi in those days. But we didn't stay here to agonize. We saw trees growing on windows. We couldn't even clean offices. The place was ungoverned. No single security man at the gate. No single police. In a country in which kidnapping takes place and all sorts, and then we kept students here without protection for them. But I said, that cannot be. This is a national issue. It's a national asset that needs national security. Then we brought police. We also brought all the sanitization. We also think human resources are the best. I met situations in which our sources were not paid for some months. You know, contract work. I said, no, that cannot be. Today we don't hold our sources. We will pay them. And our dream is to even make sure they are correct wages. President Buhari will not come here to run he has appointed us to run the place. And we are to make Nigeria work wherever we are. And please help me appreciate my Honorable Minister of State, the dynamic, progressive Minister Festus Keyamo. Festus has shown that you can be an active civil society, a civil society activist, and many of them are here. You can be a successful non-state actor and at the same time be a successful state actor. The progressive minister. When he came here, and he says so, and those are the things that motivated us. When he came here, look at the building commission in 1983. He said, how can anybody keep a building since 1983? Bring it down, we will rebuild it, and inshallah, we will do that. Part of our plan. He has been here twice now. Unprecedented. Many other ministers don't come here. He has been here with us twice. He came on decent day work. He also came at one point to commission enterprise department, the hostel that Olariwaju started with clinic, which has been abandoned. We finished it. He commissioned it. That's the way to go. And what we are doing today is also part of that process. So I want to say the context that we're holding it is that we also have we have a new development plan now unveiled by President Buhari, 2021 to 2026 or 25. It's 4-year plan. Now, we must also link our vision to that. And I used to say my colleagues that it's a national institute, so you must key into national development agenda. And I think Dr. Olariwaju is going to lead us in some of those to contextualize the plan at the case. So our vision is good, but we must link it to national vision. And what the new plan, which President Buhari has brought into being, is very significant, is that it talks of building capacity, utilization, bringing by industries, creating 30 million full-time jobs, getting many out of poverty. Now, how does the institute link to that? I don't have an answer, but the validators, you are here to help us so that we don't operate in silo, because we are not in silo. We must link our vision to also national development plan. With this very short, I'm fasting. I don't like to talk too much. I'm in Ramadan. I want to say Ramadan Karim to those of you who are in good faith with me, and I want to welcome you on behalf of my Honorable Minister. Thank you very much.
A more resounding applause for the first Comrade Director General, a visionary and progressive leader. Thank you very much, sir. He has implemented ideas that has transformed MINILS. What he has been saying, there's no overstatement or gainsaying it. It's what he has been putting into practice, and that has already transformed MINILS. Once again, a resounding applause for him.
Thank you very much. Moving on now, we'll listen to goodwill messages. Before that, permit me to recognize the presence of Mrs. A.O. Ajiboye. She's the Director, Social Protection Department. You're welcome, ma'am. Yes, so now we'll be listening to goodwill messages, and we'll start with the NLC, ably represented by the Head of Education, Dr. Mutaka Yushal. You're welcome.
The Honorable Minister, the DG MINILS, the invited guests and social partners here present, I bring to you solidarity greetings from the leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress, ably led by Comrade Ayuba P. Waba, MNI, on the occasion of this important workshop, which is on the strategic plan for the Institute that will guide the operation of the Institute in the next 5 years. As stressed by the DG, when you fail to plan, you ultimately plan to fail. I believe that this workshop will give us an opportunity to understand the challenges facing the Institute, the opportunities we can harness to surmount those challenges in the years to come. It is very important that in the course of the DG's presentation, he stressed the fact that visibility is very important for the Institute so that the Institute could serve its constituents, the tripartite constituents, the government, the workers, and the employers. We believe that for the strategic plan to get its fruition, it's very important to also understand the challenges faced by constituents. Speaking from the trade union constituents, how do you understand the challenges facing by the constituents in integrating it in your strategic plan vis-a-vis making the institution visible to these constituents? Because in the course of reading through the strategic plan, I realized that one of the challenges is that poor participation and ownership of the constituents, maybe the trade union constituents, effective participation in the program of the Institute. How do we address that? For me, I think, and I believe the DG will believe with me, having come from the constituency I'm representing, to effectively address that, I think in the strategic plan, the Institute should be able to understand the resolutions of the NLC affiliates in their respective conferences, because the resolutions are the motions that are passed. Through those resolutions, you can understand their challenges and aspirations so that you teleguide the strategic plan to address those challenges, and that will help a visibility of the Institute to this constituent. The second aspect I believe that the strategic plan should address is the fact that trade unions may not necessarily have the expertise which the Institute have, but they have their own education programs. And those education programs, the Institute can key in terms of helping to shape those programs so that it can address the need of those workers. Because workers and the Institute, through a co-creation of knowledge, will be able to come out with a synthesis that will address some of the context of the challenges as highlighted by the DG. And some of the context is obvious. The private sector affiliates of the NLC and the public sector face different challenges. The private sector faces challenges of deindustrialization, casualization, outsourcing, and now with the future of work, the increasing emergence of non-standard form of employment in the gig economy. So these are areas I think the realization of that strategic plan will effectively address. The public sector unions also face several challenges in terms of containing of wages, and non-implementation of the agreements entered by the partners. So I think the Institute as a think tank can effectively, in its strategic plan, help to address those challenges faced by the employers of labor, by the trade unions when they entered into agreement. This will help us to address some of the unnecessary industrial disputes that are taking place, as we all know that most of our friends, our children are at home. They are not at school because of the impending ASU strike. So I think the Institute, as the national institute, and stressing development, you cannot have development without education. So it can play a vital role in trying to address those challenges. So Comrade DG, invited guest, I look forward a fruitful engagement, and I really appreciate the Institute for always, since you are coming, trying to extend hands of fellowship to all the constituents, especially the trade union constituent is quite happy with that. And we look forward to continue that engagement in building the capacity of our workforce. Last year, the NLC was here for the first time to have its national flag school taking place at the institute. That is the Hamatan School. So we look forward to come back again, and we'll continue to patronize the local staffs within the institute in our programs. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Permit me to also invite for his own goodwill message, the representative of NECA, Mr. Olushola Ayodele.
Good morning once again. I bring the greetings from the Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, NECA, and we also applaud the leadership of the MINILS by the comrade DJ in collaborating, or let me say, bringing together the constituent, the social partners in every decisions of these institutes. I think last year there about during the validation of the I think we have the curriculum here. Most social partners were all here, and here we are today deliberating on or validating the strategic plan. I think it calls to for us that yes, your leadership has really tried to bring together the social partners in every of your decisions. And we believe in your leadership. That's why we are here, in the sense that, yes, you have a strategic plan. And we know that, yes, through you for the next 5 years, the strategic objective or the goals that have been set in this plan will be realized. Yes, though we have our comments on the plan itself. So during the strategic exercise, we will also yield our voice. So I think we are in support of your leadership and the whole management's aspiration towards taking MINILS to that global standard that you envisage it to be. So we bring our greetings, and we are all in support of your administration and the vision of this laudable institute. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Next up, we'll listen to Comrade Benjamin Akintola, who is the Assistant General Secretary of TUC, here representing the chairman, the president, forgive me.
The Honorable Minister, ably represented, our dear brother here, the DG, MINIS, the past DG of MINIS. I think I will rest on the established protocol. I'm here to represent the President of the Trade Union Congress, Comrade Kodri Olaleye, FCIA, who is very happy to identify with TUC. We are having a very cordial relationship with MINIS, and I can recall the number of times that the DG has paid visits to the headquarters of TUC. Of particular interest is the last one, when you paid condolence visit to the TUC on the demise of our Secretary General and the chairman of Kwara State, chairman of our council. We are happy to identify what is taking place in MINIS presently, and the effort of the DG since assumption of office. Someone say, when you are having trouble, you go back to the drawing board. That is if you have a drawing board at all. And I want to say that the DG has started on a very good note for having time to look at ways of bringing together a strategic plan. And as everybody know, that if you fail to plan, you have already planned to fail. It is a very good one, and the TUC is happy to identify with you. If you look at that plan, it is a very robust plan. And that plan has the worker to drive it. The worker is central to that strategic plan. And so all effort must be put to address the needs of the worker, those that will drive that strategic plan. For example, we want to have a situation whereby the enabling law of the institute is revisited. I know you are working on it, but the one that we have now is obsolete. So in the proposed enabling law, I know all the ingredients within the strategic plan will be emphasized in there. As I said, that the worker is the center to achieving results within that strategic plan. There must be a robust conditions and schemes of service arising from that strategic plan, so that the workers can have they can rest assured, and they can put on in their effort to achieve it, the aims and objectives of that strategic plan. When the DG was talking, he mentioned his visit to the Honorable Minister of Finance. Finance funding is key to this plan. We have to also re-strategize on how to attract funds to achieve whatever you put in the plan. Nigeria is a very funny country. If you don't know how to work your way within the government to attract funds, you'll just be deceiving yourself. Like the woman remarked that MINILS, is there anything like MINILS? They may be pretending. They know there's MINILS. But they just want to use that to, keep you at bay, so that you don't attack them. They know you are there. But like you said, we have to make ourselves visible also in there. And the only way we can make ourselves visible is when the workers is taking very good care of. I like what you are doing for the workers of this institute, the way you are taking care of them, motivating them, because that is the only way you can achieve the results within the strategic plan. GUC is happy with this plan, and we are ready to assist in whatever effort, in whatever ways to achieve all the goals within the plan. So on behalf of TUC, we're happy to be here. And all the affiliates of our unit, our center, will be mobilized to assist and to support the strategic plan. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you very much, sir. To speak on behalf of other stakeholders, permit me to invite Dr. Grace Ajagun, who is the Director of Policy and Programs, Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister, ably represented by the Special Assistant, the chairpersons of the various trade unions, NLC, TUC, NECA, and the National Council for Women Society, every other participant here present, good morning. I bring you felicitation from the Executive Secretary of NERDC. We at NERDC are particularly happy to be associated with this program. I have been in NERDC, at least I moved from Ahmadu Bello University to NERDC in year 2000. And since then, until November last year, I have worked with 2 executive secretaries. So working with executive secretaries very closely now is almost 20 years of my working with them. I have not seen any invitation from MINILS to NERDC. And I want to let you know that your constituency is all workers of this federation, not only members of the trade union, the Labor Congress. Every worker is your client and your member. Because in NERDC, we have 3 unions existing. We have the ASURAI for the academics. We have the SSA for the senior staff support services, and we have the NASU for the junior staff arm of the support services. They are all members of the NLC and their respective divisions in the NLC. So your NLC is also your constituency. And we'll be particularly pleased, I know in this strategic plan, when you break it down into specifics as annual plans and quarterly work plans, there will be sessions for courtesy visit. Please, sir, put the other constituencies among those you are, other than the labor, the organized labor constituencies like NLC, TUC, into your agenda. Because from my experience, we have very young people at the helms of affairs of these unions. And most of them have literally no or very little education of what the labor is all about. And they will really need this. Some of them feel that to be at the head of the labor unions is to hide there, to perpetrate some kind of undisciplined behavior. And then when the management tries to put them in order, they will invite their national body to come and intimidate the management. I don't think this is what unionism is all about. It's just a misunderstanding of the concept, and that is due to lack of education. Even without funding from the management, these labor unions have a big purse that they can sponsor themselves to learn more about what they have aspired to do. That is to serve this nation and to serve the interests of the workers of NERDC. So it is not a matter of lack of funds. It's a matter of not knowing what to do. And a visit from MINILS will help to educate them, will help to open their eyes on how best to even utilize their funds from the check-off dues of their members. So that is my appeal to you, sir. And I'm sure I've been here, I was here in November. I quietly observed your dynamism, and I'm here again in 2022, April, and I can see some remarkable changes even in the appearance of your staff. Not necessarily in the hall. We went to the dining room the other time. At least we walked around, we stayed outside to wait for the bus and all that. So I'm not flattering you, but this is my own observation. So if you feel I'm wrong, please pardon me. It's what I have seen that I'm talking about. So, and I want to congratulate you for that. Even taking the bold step to review your strategic plan, it shows a commitment to taking this institution to higher levels. Because the strategic plan is like a guide, particularly for his administration, putting in clear perspectives what he intends to do during his period as the chief executive of this institute. And with this strategic plan, we can also hold him accountable. You said this will be done. It was not done. Why? And so on. So it's a very big achievement, sir. It's not every institution, leaders of every institution that have that courage. It's a courage that you have displayed because, as I said, somebody somewhere will pick this strategic plan and start challenging you. You said in your 4 years or 5 years, you're going to do A, B, C. We have not seen any. And that is the fear that many chief executives exhibit. And because of that, they fail to give their organization a strategic plan. A strategic plan is more valuable than using it to hold the chief executive accountable. It gives direction even to all the staff on what is expected of them in those periods. And it also helps you to, make your budgetary plans, to make your plans to leverage resources. Rather than at budget times when you are called, you just haphazardly put together what you think the government should fund. You can easily pick from this strategic plan progressively until all the aspects of it has been implemented. So congratulations, sir. And congratulations to the entire staff of MINILS, because I know that if you did not, particularly the management staff, if you did not give him your support, his progress will be very, very slow. We civil servants, I don't know whether in MINILS you call yourselves civil servants, but civil servants can derail a chief executive if we want to. Because he depends on us to give him some form of suggestions, some advice to modify some of his thinkings to move the organization forward. And if we lie to him, he's going to fail. If we give him wrong advice, he's going to do the wrong things, and the organization will never move forward. And that is why I'm congratulating the entire staff for you to make such a remarkable progress within a short time. May 2021, that he came in here, I understand he came in May. And next month, we are going to be in May, just 1 year. He has reviewed the curriculum of this institution, and he has designed a strategic plan for this institution. It is all by your support. And I want to acknowledge that. And I want to please plead with you to continue. You will criticize your leader, but when you criticize, also give a constructive suggestion. Don't criticize for the sake of criticism or for the sake of destruction. If you observe something going wrong as a management staff, you can walk to your chief executive. I have done that several times with my chief executives that I work closely with. Sometimes I even quarrel them, refuse to pick their phone calls until they call me back and say, Madam, what is the problem? So, and then I will now sit down and discuss the issue, and we move forward from there. And the management staff has that opportunity, which others that have not reached that managerial level may not have. So I will encourage you to do that and give your leadership all the necessary support. If your leader fails, you cannot exempt yourself from that failure. You have all failed. If in these 4 years of his administration or 5 years of his administration, he fails, it is all of you that failed, not only him. He can even exempt himself. He said, it's the advice they gave me that I'm implementing. And who are those who are supposed to advise the chief executive? Is the management staff. On this note, I want to end here and say thank you very much to MINILS for bringing NERDC and other institutions. I can see the universities here, and the National Council for Women Societies are here, and so on. So it is their collective effort to make sure that this strategic plan addresses the entire constituency of MINILS, which is the labor body of this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Dr. Grace Ajagun, for your charge. I would like to quickly invite the chairman of the Joint National Association of Persons Living with Disabilities to give a goodwill message within 1-2 minutes. Comrade Yusuf Bashir. Thank you.
Standing on existing protocol, the Honorable Minister and the DG here, from the history of MINIS, this is the first time that we're having an inclusive program. That people with disability, despite their disability, they see potential in us and say, come out and make your own input. We really appreciate the MINIS. And one thing that surprised us that once we enter MINIS, that we didn't see pity. What we say here is encouragement. We really appreciate that one for you. God be with you and the entire management. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that brief remarks. To give his own solidarity message and to declare the workshop open, permit me to invite a man here today. You may not see it. The cap may be invisible. He is here as the Honorable Minister of State for Labor and Employment and also Special Assistant to the Minister. Is no other person than Mr. Dave Olua.
Good morning, comrades. I want to start on a lighter note. When my colleague was actually talking, she talked about her going on strike. And I said, it can only be a woman that will go on strike. Go down, pick your phone. If the men do it, they're already on their way out. My DG, sir, I enjoyed every good thing you said about me, the way you introduced me, but I won't want to forget that I'm still a full soldier. I'm here only to deliver the message of the Honorable Minister. And it is in two perspectives. One, the plan, and the other one, human capacity. I want to start with the plan. Like we discussed, I remember when the letter came, they asked me a question. What was the status of MINIS plan before this? But when the DG spoke and talked about how he initiated this, I didn't need to ask questions more. I just said, well, the problem is sorted out. This is where we're going to start, and this is what we're going to review. Otherwise, we would have been interested in knowing what have you done in the past, what was the challenge, and how do you move from there? That's what he would have been interested in. But having said so, I want to go straight to this plan. I've had the privilege of not just hearing or being, but I had the privilege of working actively. Hello? I have the privilege of working actively with some of the plans of this country, starting from Soludo's need to Shamsuddin's Vision 2020 and to Clem Abba's recent plan. At the end of Clem Aba's recent plan, what did I do? I called some of my colleagues and I will sat them down and say, come, let's look at these 3 documents. What is different? You discover that at the end of the day, what we do is, to be honest with ourselves, is garbage in and garbage out. The countries we are competing with are not dependent on their annual appropriation. So what am I trying to say? You are validators. You are not expected to validate everything you see. You are expected to look at the plan critically and tell management, look, the integrity of this plan is low or is high. Because you put up a document at the end of the day, you can't implement it. It does not make sense. So what am I trying to say, gentlemen? Ladies? I expect us to think out of the box. I expect us to look at a plan that will not be dependent on appropriation. Because I believe if you put a plan in place and with the buy-in of stakeholders, it will attract the necessary fund. But your plan, if you put it like the ordinary plan we always have, it will end up in the shelf. And at the end of the day, you hold somebody responsible. You developed this plan, you told us this, and you did not do this. It starts with us. Most of us public servants, for instance, I'm part of the public service. I retired as a director, and I will tell you that it is our responsibility to develop these plans and guide the chief executive. It is not our responsibility to criticize them. We should criticize ourselves first. Because it's dependent on the kind of plan we have put in place. The success is dependent on it. The failure is dependent on it. And my colleague did say it here, that we have a very huge responsibility. So as validators, please, most of the plans I expect you to put forward that will take MINILS to the next level must not be dependent on our appropriation. If you don't get to that point in your plan, I'm afraid you'll be subjected to the vagaries of the budget releases. And at the end of the day, you won't achieve nothing. And nobody will take you serious. So it's important we know that, validators, that you are not just here to rubber stamp a plan. You are here to look at a plan critically and decide on the best direction for this plan to go. Number 2, like he said, you know, having been in the ministry and read some of the letters that came from this institute, the minister got worried. And I remember when the chief executive assumed duty, he mandated him. He said, look, I see a lot of indiscipline in your agency and you must do something about it. He has given him targets and he has given him standard too. And it's important you people know that is answerable to somebody and he will have to deliver on that. So please, if you are not disciplined, if you are not serious, you cannot actualize your plan. And that's the truth. So the minister is interested in that. He's interested in the discipline of this place. He's interested in the way you conduct yourselves and the way you carry out your assignments. I want to say that as an errand boy that I am today, that I don't have anything of my own to say other than to say, by the power conferred on me by the DG and the Honorable Minister, I inaugurate this validation session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. The representative and the SA to the Honorable Minister. I've been directed to invite, on behalf of the Kwara State Government, Alhaja Fatimat Abolore Jimo, for our own goodwill remarks.
The Honorable Minister, ably represented here, and the DG MINILS, Comrade Isarimu. I want to ask that you give me the opportunity, because we are in a validation seminar, to uphold the validated protocol, which was established by the Director, Planning, Research and Statistics, and validated by the DG himself. I want to start on that validated protocol. I'm here representing our Mabel head of service, Mrs. Susan Mudukwe, who is the head of service of Kwara State. She sends in her regard. She will have wished to be here, but for more pressing state matters. Having carefully listened to the proceeding here, the service in general, comprising those of us who are in trade union and those of us who are para-unionists and those of us who are freelancers, I want to say that we appreciate the extension of invitation from MINILS. And we have been having some meetings of recent aimed at improving service in general. Myself, as the Director of Training and Management Services in the state, I want to say that we have had almost 7 meetings with MINILS, all aimed at improving the training potentials of our staff. The validation workshop is a right step in the right direction. And like they say, this time around, there is no cause for anybody saying he said it, he didn't do it. We are all doing this together. We as a body, we are looking at the strategic plan given to us by the Institute, and we're already looking at ways of profiling solutions to some knotty issues, because we wouldn't want the plan to be too hard. We want it to be a very simple one, so that those of us outside and the planners themselves, at the end of the day, will have full cause to glorify ourselves and say, we said it and we did it. Like our mommy, Dr. Ajagun said, there is nowhere we want to blame anybody here. We are training ourselves to give in the best, and we pray that MINILS will continue to progress from grace to grace. And for them to progress, it needs all of us to cooperate with them. I want to recall that the training departments of the state have been having cooperation with MINILS, but the one we are having of recent is of a very different grade. Although we have not been able to have a seminar with them, but it's at a very advanced stage of implementation. This is because the DG and those in charge of training are not resting on their horse that we must be trained. And we all know that if we don't train them, you cannot blame them. So we're happy with you, and we want to appreciate your great stride in bringing out a strategic plan. So as we proceed in the workshop, we're going to give out our own already prepared address on the matters that we saw that needed more clarification for the Institute. Here, I want to, once again, on behalf of the state government the entire workforce of the state and our head of service and the immediate past permanent secretary, establishment and training. It was the one that made it up to this point. But as God will have it, he just retired last month. A new one has been appointed. We are going to continue from where the other permanent secretary stopped. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Ma, the representative of the Kwara State government. I now want to invite for the vote of thanks.
Before the vote of thanks, I listened to the Honorable Minister very well, and I think Mr. Olua made a point that we don't need to rely alone on the budget, that with the stakeholders, we should be able to drive our plan. And Dr. Grace Ajagun challenge us that the plan we are putting in place will make us to be accountable. And she even went further to raise an important point, and I hope our trainers are here. I can see Raji, Ajayi, Adamode. She said that she has never gotten any notice, any invitation about our academic program or our calendar for training since she has been with the NERDC. Now, to show that this plan, we intend to walk the talk, I'm hereby going to present our academic calendar for 2022 to Dr. Grace, formally.
Secretary of NERDC, I humbly received this strategic plan and this training calendar, and I will take it to the executive secretary for noting and implementation. Thank you.
So after all of you have witnessed this, I want to say, no union is here. I want to say, I want to reaffirm, I want to confirm that NERDC will send participants to the institute henceforth. And I also want to reaffirm that we will even work out memorandum of understanding for continuous training. And I think now we are walking the talk. If we have more commitment for more stakeholders, and with the permission of Honorable Minister, I would also like to present to NECA this calendar, and they must make commitments.
Yes.
They are sending participants. Go ahead. How many participants are you sending?
I think NECA has over 4,000 member companies, and because that's our constituents. So what we will do is to propagate. I think at the last meeting during the validation of the curriculum, I also reiterate something like this. I think we also share with among our member companies for them to participate.
Nigeria Labour Congress, I know I've given you, in fact, you are part of this process. I want to say, I want to
reaffirm
that Rain School will come here.
Yes.
Avatar School will come.
Yes.
They will send participants.
Yes.
Not only that, I want to say, they will stay in our hostel.
Yes, sir.
Both the participants and the organizers.
Yes, so a resounding applause for that.
Oh, you want to say something?
Okay.
Where is Anisha? And I'm very sure you'll tell the put is around the pipeline. But thank you so much. A round of applause for it. Simply, I'm presenting this to you, our calendar, and you have to give commitment at what you are saying.
Yes.
Well, I want to, like I said, we have always been committed. Yeah.
To the programs and activities of MINILS. That is at the center. I recall that annually, TUC used to have a training program, whether the condition is bad or worse. We have been committed. And I'm assuring you that all the affiliates of TUC that have run away from MINILS, they will all return. My own is even twofold, because I'm the president of the union that is here, Southern. So we are committed. And we've been here as a union last year against all these insinuations that we have been hearing. Because I will tell you, we are in a society that people will complain. When you are appointed, there are complaints. But when I look at my Bible, John 1, verse 46, I can't quote it correctly. Nathaniel said, can there be anything good, any good thing from Nazareth? And the other man said, come and see. And that is what we are seeing today. So I want to congratulate you, sir. God bless you.
A resounding applause for the Director General.
I think the marketing continues, but what I want to also add is that we are not part of the changes that we're bringing, and I hope we discussed this during the session, is that we are not just asking the stakeholders to send participants. Of course, that is important. They must send them. But you should also be part of the educational service delivery. You know, it's inclusion. All of you are powerful resource fellows. You know, so NSC, you have to be on our faculty. NECA must also be there. You bring all those experience to bear. TUC, the same thing. You know, and of course, Madam, this is your experience on curriculum development. In fact, we're expanding the scope of the curriculum to include development and security issues. You know, we can't just be lamenting that things are not good. What are we also doing to build capacity of the workers in this field? So development issues are even very, very important. So we need all of you to participate very well, apart from core trading issues. So on this note, I think we've ended this session. Who's giving the vote of thanks?
Mr. Muyo Omole for the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Ma. On behalf of the Director General of the Institute and the entire management staff, I want to express our sincere and profound gratitude and appreciation to the Honorable Minister for Labor, ably represented here, and the other partners and stakeholders, the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment, the NLC, the TUC, NECA, and the Kwara State Commerce of Industry, Mines, and Agriculture, to mention but a few. We seek your continuous support in this process as we go on in the Institute, and we pray that as we have rolled out this action plan, God will grant us the ability and the enablement to bring it to fruition with excellence and perfection. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now let's listen to this announcement. Immediately after this, after the solidarity song, we will all move out for a group photograph. And I am directed to inform you, distinguished participants, that the tea break is strictly for only the participants. Tea break strictly for participants only. Those who are not fasting, thank you, sir. So after the solidarity song, we move out for the group photograph. We have our tea break and we come back immediately for the technical session. Can we all rise up to take the solidarity song as we end this opening ceremony? There is victory for victory. There is victory for all. In the struggle for our members. There is victory for all. Forward, ever, backward, never. In the struggle for our members, there is victory. Great Nigerian workers. Great. Great of the greatest Nigerian workers. Great. Solidarity forever. Aluta. Continua. Victoria. Asata. Viva Nigeria. Viva. Viva MINILS. Viva. Thank you very much. Please, let's permit those on the other side of the table to move out first for the group photograph. Thank you very much.
Please, can we move out quickly to avoid keeping others in the sun? Please, let's move out for the group photograph quickly. Please, let's move out for the group photograph quickly. We are already running behind schedule.
Hello.